Hello, my name is Albert Montanez, and today I'll be talking about animal testing. And first off, a little bit of background information is, our proposition is that me and Cassie believe that the use of animals for scientific research should be abolished. And we have three reasons why we believe it should be so and why we know you will agree with us in the end. It's because in today's society, over time, animal research nowadays has become irrelevant, unnecessary, and cruel, of course. First off, a little bit of background information, like I was saying. The animal research has been in part of our society, has been monitored as part of our society, since 1966 when President Lyndon B. Johnson passed the Animal Welfare Act, which essentially allowed researchers to legally partake in finding research through animals with finding scientific evidence for scientific breakthroughs in other medicines and cosmetology by the use of animals. And the Animal Welfare Act, it allows protection for animals, and basically all animals except for farm animals, cold-blooded animals, and fish and birds. And those animals protected have to go through certain rights and regulations over other animals, such as safety and things as such. And my first point, which is why animal research is cruel, is because there is, according to an article called About Animal Testing by the Humane Society International, has talked about a type of study, one of the most common studies done on animals, which is called the Draze test, which involves having an animal, most commonly a rabbit, and clamping its eyes open so they can pour chemicals over its eyeballs to test the effects of cosmetology products and what it does to animals' eyes. And during this time, the animal will have its eyes completely forced open so it can't blink away at the product for weeks on end. And it is very clear that this is one of the most cruelest things to do to an animal, because they are forcing it to go under serious amounts of psychological and physical pain, where it can cause near blindness in animals and some death from the amount of stress. And the Humane Society International also talks about the other form of the Drazer test, which is done on animal skin. Similar to other cosmetology products, they would have the main chemicals in the product to being poured on top of the animal's skin. Well, first they would shave off the animal's skin and then surgically remove up to 7 layers of its skin while pouring the main ingredient on top of its arm while the animal is being restrained for up to weeks on end. And this also causing much physical pain and stress among the animal. And that is why it is clear that animal testing is cruel. But moving on to my points of where it is unnecessary is that animal tests, the Humane Society International also had an article about animal testing, which I was using, and from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they stated that nearly 9 out of every 10 medical tests that appear safe and effective on animal studies fail when given to humans. And this is because of the clear biological differences that animals have from humans. So if you're trying to test some type of medical drug on an animal, it will give you a false positive 90% of the time, over 90% of the time. And this moves me on to my next point, which is why animal testing is irrelevant, is that due to these clear biological differences, animals simply cannot prove that whether medical tests being done on them, it simply does not prove that drug or chemical X will be safe on humans. And this has caused 2 notable major instances in our society where thousands were killed because of a false positive by animals. In an article called Science Museum Brought to Life, Explored in the History of Medicine, it talks about a drug called thalidomide, and it states that thalidomide was a mild sleeping pill shown to be safe through animal research and studies, and it was said to even be safe for pregnant women, but when it was released and put on the counters of stores, excuse me, it caused thousands of birth defects in humans, because even though it was proven safe on animals through research, it's still, due to clear biological differences in animals, that it was just false. Because you can't compare medicines that are safe on animals to be safe in humans. It's just basic knowledge due to our clear differences. And there was another instance where the similar thing happened in an article called "Animals Should Not Be Tested in Labs" by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It stated that nearly 92% of drugs tested on animals, which have been proven safe on them, still have harmful side effects in humans. And they also state later that there was a drug called Vitox in the UK, which is a drug proven safe in animals, caused over 139,000 deaths due to heart attacks and strokes. And this is another clear evidence that shows that animal research for medical purposes is just plain out false and wrong, and which is why it should be abolished, because animals have such clear differences among humans, so you cannot prove that. You cannot say medically that if something works for animals, it will not always work for humans. And going back to my comments on the Drazer test, in another article called "Advocacy for Animals" by Advocacy for Animal Science Alternatives, they said that the Drazer test also creates invalid information for being comparable to humans. So like I said before, the Drazer test, which is applying substances on an animal's eye, it's still, the product, which may say it is completely safe for humans, it still may have side effects. And I'll use this with an example of, I believe we all have used, at some point of our lives, Johnson & Johnson's, the family company's product, which says, no more tears, but I think in today we all know that it still makes you cry. Thank you.